I am delighted to be here in front of business leaders, members of government, members of the arts community, philanthropists, community leaders, and of course members of our own University of Calgary community. You are all good friends of our institution. I would also like to acknowledge our board chair, Bonnie DuPont, and our chancellor, Bob Thirsk, as well as the many other dignitaries that are in the room. We also have a number of folks who have stepped up and contributed to our university in many, many significant ways. People like Jeff Cumming, Don and Ruth Taylor, Mike Timms, Mac Van Willigen, John Simpson, Ron Mannix, and Ross Glenn, who got delayed in Toronto, unfortunately. I would like to thank Steve Allen and Calgary Economic Development, as well as RGO, for supporting this event. And thank you for partnering, Adam, with the Chamber, and congratulations to you. You guys have a big birthday coming up, 125th, so it's wonderful to celebrate two very important anniversaries. So as Adam noted, this is a very special year for the University of Calgary. On April 29th, we're having a big birthday, and I think looking around the room, I can safely say you only turn 50 once. And for a university, it's a really big deal. It's still very young, but it signifies, I think, maturing from those teenage years into a fully fledged adult. This is special. It's not just special for those of us on campus, it's special for the city of Calgary. This is your university. This is a pillar of the community that is helping shape our economy and the quality of life that we enjoy. And I want to step back just a few minutes, because I think if you go back more than 100 years ago, Calgarians were pretty upset because they expected that Alberta's university was going to actually be established in Calgary. I think they thought the deal was Edmonton would get the capital and Calgary would get the university. Of course, we know that didn't happen, but in 1906, the Alberta Normal School began to offer education to our future educators. That, of course, grew and advanced quickly, and now that is part of our own university as part of the Workland School of Education at the University of Calgary. But I can say over those early decades, before we became an autonomous institution, that thirst, that knowledge, and that understanding that Calgary needed its own institution was felt, it was a passion, and they did not let up. There was protesting, there were calls to government, there were a lot of rebuffs from government. But we know on April 29th, 1966, we became the University of Calgary. We fully adopted our city's name. We started very humbly, a few tar paper shacks, to a campus that is substantive both in size, number of students, over 30,000, as well as stature. We have done a lot in our 50 years. We have graduated over 160,000 alumni, 2/3 of them, about 100,000, staying right here in our city. In fact, we like to say that our graduates have helped build the city of Calgary. And I know there's many in this room here today. I am one of those graduates. In fact, I'm a 3-time graduate. I came here in 1982. Got my first degree in Eastern Canada. I'm from the East Coast. And I came to Calgary to study at the University of Calgary, to a new program at a young university at the frontier. I had only watched the Stampede on the TV. I didn't really know what it was all about. So I packed up my stuff in my car, waved bye to my parents, and drove into Calgary in 1982. Now, you'll recall, those were tough times, but I have to say, as a Maritimer, it still looked pretty good. But this was a city that was exciting. I felt I was part of something. And of course, I stayed in Calgary. I married my husband, raised a family, never thinking I was actually going to be part of a university community for my whole career, but here I am, and it's been fabulous. So this is a special university to our community, to me, and I know to many in this room. It is one that generates over $8 billion a year in economic value to Calgary and beyond. It is one that has great relationships, whether it's the Chamber of Commerce, Calgary Economic Development, or with the City of Calgary. We have a very special relationship through what we call the Urban Alliance. That is where we meet with the city, where they put on the table what their challenges are in transportation and social services and wastewater treatment. And we harness the capacity that we have on our campus to help solve those problems. And since this was established about 10 years ago, we've had over 120 projects. That's how universities and cities can start to work together. So it's been a great ride. But let me just step back over the last 4 or 5 years where we wanted to truly up our game. 4.5 years ago, our community came together and said, what should the University of Calgary be? What can it be? What is expected of us? We engaged over 4,000 of our faculty, staff, students, alumni, and community to talk about what it means to be a great university. How do we reflect the values of Calgarians, that entrepreneurial spirit, that energy, that thirst for international excellence? And that culminated in the development of our Eyes High strategy, which talks about us being a global intellectual hub in Canada's most enterprising city. It talks about our commitment to teaching and learning made rich by hands-on experiences. Our aspirations to be a top 5 research university in this country, and one that is connected to our community that we both lead and serve. This has shaped everything we do on our campus. It is supported by an academic and research plan that identifies key priorities, timelines, metrics, because we want to hold ourselves accountable. We want you to hold us accountable. And I can say, after almost 5 years, we are well on our journey. Just this coming Monday, on our campus, we will be announcing and launching officially the Taylor Institute for Teaching and Learning. It is a unique space with unique programs that will be the hub of teaching innovation, not just for us, but for all universities and post-secondaries in this province and well beyond, made possible by the generosity of our community. This will be where we shape new curriculum, new ways of teaching, discover initiatives that can make a difference to our students' learning and their student experience. We are moving the dial on entrepreneurship through our Hunter Center for Entrepreneurship and Innovation, making sure our students understand entrepreneurial thinking, whether they're going to start companies or not. They need to be creative, they need to be engaged, and they need to understand how the bigger world works. And in research, which is another pillar of our Eyes High strategy, we understand we can't be all things to all people. We identified 6 areas where we're focusing, where we have excellence, capacity, and opportunity. And in each of those 6 areas, we're investing in bringing the best talent, the best students, developing the best facilities to make an impact on our community and to our economy. Things like the energy space, where we have an energy research strategy, where we're tackling grand challenges in areas such as unconventional resources. How do we extract those, reducing emissions, reducing costs? Hydraulic fracturing, going towards a low-carbon energy, and looking at issues on the climate. We're seeing huge success. We're seeing people like geoscientist Dave Eaton and his work in looking at fracturing and its impact on seismicity, big issue in the paper. He is supported by industry through Chevron, as well as the federal government through the Natural Sciences and Research Council to study the issues, to understand the issues, to help both in a technology sense as well as in policy. We are developing new technologies to be able to extract unconventional resources, so oil sands, gas, oil, tight oil, through means that lower and if not eliminate GHGs. This is key if Alberta and Canada will meet its climate goals. And we are working closely with many industry partners, and these industry partners are developed through our faculty members' contacts with their industry colleagues. We're making a difference. This difference is so significant that it's not only restricted to what we do here in Alberta. We are sought out around the world. We were sought out by the Chinese to develop a unique energy research center in Beijing, 40,000 square feet of the best equipment that was funded by a large Chinese private sector energy services company. They wanted us on the ground in Beijing to partner with Chinese universities so they could help tackle their climate issues, because they are trying to move from coal to gas, and we're going to help them get there. $11 million. Just before Christmas, the Mexican government, who of course they're going through energy reform, came to the University of Calgary, investing $12 million. We have set up office right in Mexico City to help them, whether it's governance, policy, technology, training. They have sought out the University of Calgary. And I can tell you, I was just in Ottawa the last 2 days, and I met with the Mexican ambassador to Canada and the Chinese ambassador to Canada. They are extolling the virtues of this university, our ability to play on the world stage. That is what has been built over the last 50 years. Now, I could go on. We have research in chronic disease where we're looking at ways that we can impact infections and its impact not only on humans but in livestock, the food, safety, and production. We're also working and looking at to build smart and resilient cities. Looking at our work on social policy development, making our cities more accessible to those who perhaps haven't been supported in the past, and they need big ideas, they need bold ideas so that they can feel included in this great cities. We're also working directly on technology, using the Pine Creek wastewater treatment facility to establish a world-class research facility that is allowing us to test water quality to ensure, again, Calgary in the world stays at the forefront of something that we know is so precious. I could go on and on and on, but I can tell you in every example that I will give, we have not done it on our own. It's been community leaders who have stepped up to invest, maybe in facilities, it may be in people, it may be scholarship support to students. Everyone has come to the table to ensure that this is a great university making a big difference. This has resulted in the University of Calgary being catapulted to the top young university under 50 years of age in Canada, North America, number 9 in the world. It has catapulted this university on our eyes high journey, which we talk about being top 5, of achieving that top 5 in 24 of our 33 comparator metrics. Everything from employability of our graduates, time to completion, retention of our students, research funding per faculty member, disclosures, inventions, and so on. We are playing in that top 5 space on many factors. We attract over $358 million a year in research funding. These are our faculty going out to compete with the best, and when they compete, they win. Right now, we have over 1,600 distinct agreements with companies here in Calgary and beyond. So to say that the business community has not had an impact in shaping our faculty members' research programs, training environments, it has been incredible, and I want to say thank you. It is about unleashing our creativity, our discovery, and our innovation to ensure that the next generation of innovators has the talent, has the fire in the belly, and really has the tools to go out and build a stronger Calgary, Alberta, and Canada. We don't just keep things in the lab, we move them out to the community. Innovate Calgary, which is our technology transfer arm and accelerator, has over 800 patents from our faculty and students. We have spun out 71 companies, 7 only last year. Companies like RX Robots by Tanya Barron. It's a startup company that has a humanoid robot that works with children when they are getting medical treatments to make them feel more comfortable, and it works. Companies like FredSense, which was started by our students, fantastic, David Lloyd and his colleagues. Again, it's using biology and engineering to be able to detect chemicals in your water. So it started as a student project, is now a full-fledged company. So universities play a pivotal role in driving prosperity, diversity, community connectedness, and innovation. We are facilitators. We are connectors. We are the platform from which a community can build strength, resilience, and economic prosperity. We know in this country, universities collectively do $12 billion a year in research and development, which is 40% of all Canadian R&D. We are a research powerhouse. We know our universities do $1 billion a year of R&D with industry and $1.2 billion a year with not-for-profits. However, what we have seen is that we need to do more. And that's one of my messages today. We need more. If we are going to diversify our economy here in Calgary, we need to look at more interfaces between our university and our community. For example, across Canada, we know that when we benchmark our country to the OECD, since 2008, we have slipped from number 18 to 24 in R&D expenditure as a share of GDP. And the business component of that slipped from 16 to 24. Higher education from 3 to 8. So really, we have gone backwards as a country. It is not good enough. Over those years, the R&D workforce in this country has slipped by 12%. 23% in industry, shrinkage, plus 20% in higher education. If we are going to drive our economy, we need to ensure that our university and other institutions across the city and across this country engage more. It doesn't mean everyone has to play in that sandbox. We are an institution that values freedom of inquiry, academic freedom. We want our faculty to go out and find relationships. It may be in the arts community, through the wonderful announcement we did have with EMI a few weeks ago in the National Music Centre. It may be with a business. It may be with a social services agency. That's when sparks fly. That's when students get turned on to what the possibilities could be. That's where their learning comes out of the textbook and into the real world. And we need to do more. So it's exciting, but the challenges are ahead. So as we step back and celebrate a great 50 years behind us, the question is, what's next? We will be launching our 50th celebration on April 29th. We'll be opening our doors to campus over the next few days. And then we'll be getting to work while we're celebrating and really recognizing all who have helped us achieve greatness. We will be re-energizing our Eyes High strategy. We will be saying that when we launched our strategy 4.5 years ago, it was a sign and a clear point of inflection. One where we want to be bold, ambitious, and raise our game. So what is next? What is next is that we want to continue to drive our impact. We are at the table. We want to be a player. We're ready to go. We have done a lot of work making sure our organization is well run, strong governance, strong support services, recognition both in our financial sustainability, environmental sustainability, looking at our health and safety. I could go on and on. We are committed right across our campus. So 1 year from now, we will have energized our Eyes High strategy and furthered our commitment to you as Calgarians that we are with you every step of the way. We want to help build a stronger Calgary, a more diversified Calgary, one that is resilient in the good times and the bad. So I'm here to commit on behalf of our university that we're ready, we're willing, we're able, and we're very excited. I know these are tough times. These are very hard times for Calgary. But in tough times, you need some bright lights. And I think the University of Calgary is one of those bright lights. It's an institution I'm tremendously proud to lead. I hope many of you who are graduates are proud to be an alum of. And for Calgarians to see that little university up in the Northwest, one that had a lot of dust and not very many buildings, emerge to be a powerhouse in this country and on the world stage, I think it's truly amazing. We have done this together. Our next 50 years will be together. And on behalf of our institution, I want to say thank you and eyes high.